All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Growth Accelerator, Small Business Growth Accelerator, hosted by WeShop SC. I'm Kate Giovanni-Battista. I'm going to be leading today's session. We're going to be talking about foundational kind of strategies as you think about building your digital online presence in e-commerce. So while I'm going to share my screen and we're going to dive into a presentation that we've created for today. All right. Okay. All right. Hopefully everybody can see my screen. We are going to get started right away. I know everyone's time is precious. These sessions are typically going to last about 30 minutes to 45 minutes, and we'll also leave always time at the end for questions and discussion. Today's agenda, we're just going to quickly go over sort of what to expect with the accelerator, days to mark on your calendar, and sort of the nature of the weekly cycle that we'll be walking through for the month of February. We're going to go over e-commerce principles today, as well as what the principles that we're going to be talking about, really honing in on building your brand identity to help it shine through in an e-commerce setting is going to be very important. So we're going to talk about how you can really fine-tune your brand identity, or if you have one, dust it off so that we can incorporate it into your e-commerce profile. We're going to talk about AI tools in e-commerce and how you can use them to increase your productivity, as well as enhance your online digital listings or copy for your business. And then also finally at the end, talking about how you can translate all that into maximizing your WeShop SE store space. So this Small Business Growth Accelerator, we will meet every Tuesday live, and hopefully you can join us during our live sessions to create more of an interactive environment. But if you cannot, they will be recorded, and we do require that you watch them to understand the full content that's shared, as well as some of the activities that are going to be associated with the WeShop platform during the month of February. There is a pre-accelerator survey we are asking you to complete. It's very short. It should not take you more than 5 to 10 minutes to complete, and don't stress about it. We just want to get a quick touch base on where your business is at, how your comfort level is, so that our team can be as supportive as possible through your monthly engagement with the session. So this week we'll be talking about foundations of e-commerce, and it'll really be the building blocks of how we look at going deeper tactically each week beyond. So next week we'll be focusing on customer experience and presentation. It's a lot of visual orientation and training expertise that will be shared. So come with your questions for next week around visual and designing customer experience in an e-commerce fashion. The week after that, we'll be talking a lot about marketing and promotions, loyalty, how you can use those levers to increase sales, and how your e-commerce incorporates into that. And then finally, measuring, growing, and scaling. So how do we use our numbers to help us make changes or pivots or try new approaches and tactics to influence our e-com, as well as our brick and mortar storefront capabilities. So at its most basic level, e-commerce, you hear that word a lot, right? Well, what is it? Most people tend to think of it as just the actual transaction part of, online activity, online sales. But it really is more of a blanketed term that talks about everything from how is your website designed? What is the browsing process? What are you featuring? What is the actual add to cart activity look like? How is your online payment processor working? What is the post-sale or fulfillment process? So it's really an end-to-end analysis of how your business is engaging in a digital fashion. It's not just the actual transaction component. So I always like to clear that up. So when we talk about e-commerce, we could be, honing in on one specific step of the process, but e-commerce really is this sort of end-to-end journey, right, that we walk through as individuals and customers, and that you design for your customers as well, for your business. So we'll talk about the best practices around e-commerce strategies and some industry trends and where we're at kind of as an industry, as an e-commerce market. We'll talk about small businesses strategies that you can implement that are really simple and easy and actually don't differ too much from maybe some of the ways you're already approaching retail. And then also maximizing your WeShop profile and the platform community that exists for you. So as a quick reminder, WeShop SC was a initiative led by the Municipal Association of South Carolina, as well as its Main Street organizations. And Jenny Ballware is the state coordinator and her team that are leading this initiative, as well as Jonathan Irick. So you have a fabulous team in South Carolina. I am the founder of Beyond Maine, and as well as Dana Dawood, who you'll likely see in next week's session. We have Jeremy Renna as well as Daniel Van Shake that are part of our team as well. So we are like the technical counterparts supporting WeShop SC. And WeShop SC's vision is to become South Carolina's largest collection of small business and communities, really build that ecosystem and environment that is dedicated to highlighting, promoting, and uplifting small businesses and communities in the state. And the mission of WeShop is to help create more connections, discoverability, and commerce opportunities for small businesses in the digital economy and communities and residents or visitors looking to connect with small business populations. And it's growing quite rapidly. We are over 650 businesses across the state that have registered. We've got almost 100, maybe even 100 cities now represented across the state. 36 active markets are building their digital directories on WeShop, and the site is seeing anywhere from 8,000 to anywhere from 12 to 15,000 visitors a month, depending on maybe what promotions are going on or what season we're in. So there's a lot of eyeballs, a lot of activity, and it's a great community to get involved with and have your business represented there. All right, so e-commerce, we just wrapped 2024. And online sales in the US reached $1.26 trillion. That is a 10.5% increase from 2023. These numbers are not going anywhere but this way. So we have seen pretty much year over year consistent single to double digit increases over the last pretty much 15 to 20 years. Big business has, gotten to the point where they're doing 20 to 30% of their revenue is now through an online access point. So it is a continuing growing market. Small businesses have pretty much been sort of shut out, in my opinion, of this space because of how hard it is to create a website, manage a website, fund a website, or other technology tools to kind of create these digital capabilities and features that a lot of big businesses have the capital to invest in. And so that's really where WeShop is coming in. It's helping to provide those big tech tools that you as an individual business owner might struggle to create for yourself or find the economies of scale to access. And so that's the beauty of WeShop. It's focused on putting in your hands the tools that you need to leverage this digital economy and space for e-commerce benefits for your business. 187.5 million people in the US in 2024 made at least one purchase via an app or a mobile website. That is a lot of people. 2/3 of our country almost are making purchases on their mobile device. And so we are all walking around with these very smart and supercharged devices in our pockets 24 hours a day. And we can access everything from bananas to cars. And complete a purchase if we want to. And so your business needs to be able to be discovered and show up in the same capacity and fight for competition in that space, right? To be visible. Another staggering statistic is that of all those online sales, 40% of them come from Amazon or are transacted on Amazon's platform. And so while I'm not gonna sit here and, knock Amazon. They've created an amazing platform that provides, a service to the community. What I want to see happen is that small businesses have an opportunity to do the same in a space that's dedicated for them. So I choose to put my energy into how do we create an Amazon-like environment that is really focused on building small business capabilities and access to customers interested in supporting and purchasing from small businesses in the state. So you can take the good from the Amazon environment and figure out how we can implement those capabilities on We Shop SC so that your business can shine and begin to realize e-commerce sales in the digital economy. So e-commerce principles that we're going to hone in on for our discussion today, and these are really just like fundamentals that I always like to kind of just anchor ourselves in when we start talking about like how does your business want to show up in the digital era or in the digital space, and specifically through WeShop. One really important thing to identify first is your customer journey. And so what is the journey of your customer? If you don't, sometimes you would have to start with just what it is today before engineering where you want it to be. But the customer journey is usually divided into these key areas of like, how are you building awareness? What is the interest? How are you building interest in your business? How are you building consideration so that your business is considered in the customer's mind when they want to buy that thing or get that service, right? Where's your consideration moments? Where are those purchase moments happening? Who's making those purchases? And then how are you building loyalty with those purchasers? So that's really the journey steps that you walk through like in retail. It's just now we're applying it in an e-commerce fashion because the steps are different, right? And the mediums are different. The approaches can be different. So, but it's essentially the same process. How are you building awareness, interest, consideration, purchase, and loyalty? And then what is your unique business value proposition? How are you differentiating yourself in the market, whether that's from the other businesses in your town, to the region, to if you're competing, nationally or globally? What is sort of your unique value proposition as a business? Do you offer the most nutritious and beneficial pet food in the region? Like, is that your specialty? What is your specialty? Why would people seek you out? Who is your target audience? Who are your ideal customers that you are trying to attract based off of your value proposition, right? What are their personas? And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. And then finally, translating this into more e-com speak, what is your user experience? And so what is the website design? Some things you have control over in the WeShop environment and some things you don't, as well as your own maybe branded site. There could be ways you can design your user experience to really shine, help your customer experience like shine in new and innovative ways. But we'll talk about the core kind of components that WeShop SC has baked in for you and how that user experience is laid out so that you can really allow your value proposition to shine. You can reach your target audience and you can allow for that customer experience to be known, what customers can expect, all through WeShop. Okay, so kind of going just like a little bit deeper on the customer journey and the awareness. So, and if you want to take notes as we go or answer these questions as we kind of walk through them, I would highly encourage everyone to do that. It'll just help when we get to the end and we're translating it into your profile. You'll have these kind of areas mapped out for yourself. So awareness. So how do potential customers discover your brand? Where are you showing up today? List all of them. Is it social media? Is it on search engines? Is it, do you have a branded website? Are there advertising spaces that is it billboards? Like wherever your business is showing up, and you're actively working to build awareness, list it as a channel. These are really important to understand, because you'll lean into each one of them maybe at different times of the year or all of them simultaneously, depending on what's happening at the time of year. Interest. What sparks your customers' initial interest in your products or services? So this is really kind of like digging into that value proposition or your compelling, store positioning. What do you do? What do you offer? What's unique? Really try to get very, very specific, because these are going to be the stories that you're going to share and tell and showcase through your WeShop that helps pull your audience to you. For consideration, what factors influence their decision to choose your brand over a competitor? So this is also where understanding your competitors is really very important, and your differences and similarities, where you're similar and where you differ. But what are the factors that influence someone's decision to work with you? I'll give you an example. We worked with a lovely business who was a massage therapy um, professional and was expanding into holistic medicine. And so when we were helping her craft her new vertical for the holistic medicine, channel, we did a lot of work on why would someone consider this? What stage are they in? What decision making position are they in that they would want to take that step to learn more about their health and go through a program like this? And so, you're going to find those answers, right? Like it's somebody who's maybe struggling and been feeling unwell for a really long time, who's dealing with chronic pain. Get very specific. Like, why would someone want to or need to come to you? If you're a gift shop, maybe it's Mother's Day gifting season, right? And so they are looking for special gifts for mom. Well, what do you have that's going to solve that need? That's consideration. Purchase. How easy is it for customers to make a purchase with you? So we're going to just kind of hone in on the e-commerce space right now. And so this is really about the checkout process. You know, do they have to enter credit card information? Is there ability for it to be stored? Is it a safe and secure payment gateway? Does your credit card processor like detect fraudulent activity or prevent fraudulent activity? Those are more concerns for you, but it's important in the purchase process. Customers are wanting to make sure that they can trust the sites that they're shopping on and with. And so making sure you have, the SSL certificates, the little lock sign and the URL to let them know that it's safe. I've seen a number of sites still where it'll say this is not a secure site. And I know it's only informational, but it is really important. It creates a barrier for the customer to have distrust in the business, right? And we don't want barriers. We don't need more reasons for customers to not want to engage with your small business. And so these are very little things that don't usually typically take a lot of capital or effort to ensure are set up in an e-com space. They're guaranteed on WeShop SC, but if you're building your own website, it's really important to make sure that you have that safe and secure browsing and checkout capability if you're doing e-com. And then finally, loyalty. How do you retain your customers and encourage repeat business? Do you have a loyalty program that you offer, or are you interested in starting one? Do you run promotional offerings from time to time and, give them special incentives, maybe birthday announcements or coupons or gifts? Those are really great ways to engage your customer, surprise and delight them, and build loyalty post the purchase process. So as we kind of think about the customer journey and how we position our business, defining your value proposition, again, is really like, what problem are you solving? So if everyone could take like 2 seconds and just write down what does your business solve? What purpose does it have? It doesn't have to be full sentences. It could just be keywords, but document what pops into your brain immediately. Those are the key things we're really wanting to try to pull forward in next week's session when we're talking about visuals, right? And identity, visual identity, and customer journey and experience. Understanding and knowing this value prop will help you make sure you choose the right images and copy to help reinforce that value proposition. And knowing your target audience, these are your ideal customers. So everything that you put forth, whether that's language in a listing or it's visuals or it's events that are happening, you want to kind of run it through your target customer, like your target audience filter, right? Is this something that my customer is going to be interested in knowing, doing, participating, purchasing? And if it's not, then you scrap it and you move on to another idea, right? Because everything has to solve a need, a pain point, deliver an experience. It's harder to do today, right? And especially in a digital fashion. And so understanding your target audience and being able to run it through whatever you're wanting to execute, run it through that filter to know, am I reaching the right people? Am I communicating the right message? Am I showcasing my value proposition here? Will help you get closer and closer to the right approaches for e-com for your business. And user experience, so these are also things like website design, which We Shop SC has a very specific website design and aesthetic and product page layout and a checkout process defined for you. But if you're building your own website, you can kind of take cues from the We Shop SC environment to help you influence if you're looking to expand your own site or make sure that they match and that they're mirrored, right? Is it mobile friendly? Does it look the same on my mobile device as it does on my desktop? Like easy to navigate, easy to search. Are my product pages, easy to read and understand and then add items to cart? Is my checkout process like simple and smooth? Can I navigate around and find what I'm looking for? That's the user experience side of ecom. And then how you deliver the exceptional customer service. These are things like responding quickly to notifications that might come in, messages that might come in through your We Shop SC profile or through social channels or your own website. Do you make returns and exchanges easy? Or do you at the very least have your return and exchange policy posted so it's visible and it's clear for customers to understand? Are there proof points maybe within the social proof points within the copy of an item, like a testimonial? Testimonials is a great example of this on the We Shop page. What types of experiences have customers had with your business? Are they highlighted here? Are they robust? Do they round it out so people can really understand what can I expect in engaging with this business? What are other people's experience with them? And then finally, this is obviously a little bit, more long-term relationship building from the customer service journey, but how are you building relationships that can relate back to a customer loyalty program or promotions or events, special notes on your birthday, anything to kind of really show that customer that you know, care, and appreciate their patronage. And also finally, like thinking through like what could be potential issues I might encounter with customers. A good example is like during the holidays when it's getting really tight and the maybe window to ship something or even your hours or of operation are becoming like more uh small and few as we get closer to the holiday, like maybe you're only open half day on Christmas Eve or whatever that might be, but just communicating that so it's not an issue for customers, right? Who maybe need last minute gifts or thought they had more time to ship it. So just kind of communicating like this is the last day to ship an order. If you want it before Christmas can be very helpful to customers and it will prevent potential customer issues, and it does build trust and it does build loyalty and it reinforces that relationship. Okay, so we've talked a lot about like the core components of e-commerce, right? The pillars and some questions you need to ask yourself. in order to make sure we're on the right track as we build our page, right? So these are all really like mind setting and strategy directive cues for you, so that when we go into the building phase, you know what you need to execute, right? It makes the execution step that much faster and that much stronger. When it comes to like building your brand identity online, it really just kind of comes down to three simple things. And I have a activity at the end that you can do over the next week before we meet that will really help reinforce and just lay out how you want to think about telling your story online. But it really just comes down to like story symbols and strategy. That's it. Your brand story. Do you have a compelling narrative that can resonate with your target audience? You might not think it's compelling, but write it down. And I guarantee, tell it to other people, see their reaction. Ask them to repeat it back to you. Ask them what was interesting about it. Those are ways that you can really help like hone your story, and also help you develop your brand voice. One of my favorite things to do, a lot of the language that we use at Beyond Mean was actually just what we would hear customers say or partners say about us. It wasn't even language we created. It was just, hey, this is how people talk about us. And so that becomes, you kind of adopt it as your brand voice. You know, you can set the tone, you can set the style, and then, you know, you help your customers and you sort of like can work on finessing that brand voice together over time. But those are two really important things to think about in brand identity, and then also think about how does that translate in the e-com and visual setting, right? Does this image match my story? Does this image match my brand voice and tone and feel? They're really, you'll start to identify what does and what doesn't, but those are kind of important filters to keep in mind. How do you utilize your logo or your colors and your fonts? Do they match the brand story and voice? So those are also important elements to map back to your brand identity. And then how do you convey your values and your brand promise in your copy? This is, you know, again, kind of like relating back to that language. Brand values can really be illustrated in a number of different ways, through your description, your about description of your profile, through your testimonials that you choose to share and highlight, through the products and listings that you create and the care that you give them, and like the information that's provided to the customer. And then your brand promise is really not just relates back to your value proposition, but also to your customer experience and how you build relationships with them. What is your promise to your customer? How are you fulfilling that promise to them? And so all of these are really, really important elements to think through that help you set the strategy for how your business shows up in the digital sense. And if you take the time to really kind of understand them and get tight on them with what you're looking to achieve, it will your profile and your online space will translate and be much stronger and more compelling to your specific target audience, and therefore have a higher likelihood of converting for you, right? Being a true sales channel for you, because we've done the hard work of focusing in on how we want to position ourselves online. So this is the examples of the brand canvas that really help you just kind of like identify the story, the symbols, your font, your logo, those types of things, and then the strategy you want to execute. So I like to include it here if you're like me and you kind of like the one pagers to like be able to just fill in the notes. There's a blank one at the end of this presentation, which we will send out, that you can fill in for yourself and kind of translate some of those notes you've been taking into a canvas and bring that with you next week. And then if you need a deeper dive into customer personas, you may have a lot of different customer personas, but sometimes it's just great to think through who are the types of people, what types of problems am I solving for them in your business, so that it can influence obviously all of the other elements of your strategy and your tone and voice, and making sure you're speaking to them and those personas. All right, so AI is a fabulous tool that I have found to really, really help accelerate small businesses' capabilities in just business operations, but specifically in kind of like tackling e-commerce. And so these are some areas that we encourage, or you can use AI to like help you improve your capabilities or skill sets. One is product descriptions. That's probably one of the easiest ways to use AI. There are a number of different tools. Anyword is a great one. I think Jasper and Bard are two others. ChatGPT, OpenAI, as well as Gemini. Gemini, Google has like some great AI capabilities as well. So pick your platform. Really doesn't matter which one. It's just whichever interface you really like the most. If you want to try a number of them, but pick one. And with giving AI the right prompts, it really comes down to giving AI the right prompts to get the best copy return. And what I typically like to do is tell AI how I want it to behave, who I want it to act like. So if we're doing a product description, and let's say maybe it's something that's truly custom, and isn't like a manufactured base good where you have maybe some core copy to like use or reference. You could tell AI to act as a marketing expert and write copy for a custom candle, and that has this, the base notes of blah, 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 and this is the size, and, anything else specific that you might want to tell it to include as descriptive words. And then you can finish by saying, be sure to include key search engine words that will help it show up in online searches, both locally and regionally or beyond, right? Or you can give it like a bunch of, basically boss it around. That's my best advice. Boss AI around. Tell it how you want it to behave as if you were sitting right next to that industry expert or subject matter expert, and it will return to you based off of your directives what that product description and copy. So it's a great tool to help you like get beautifully written copy that's very robust, that's focused, that's actually like, hopefully thought through the lens of an SEIO or a marketing expert. Now, obviously, we still need to, it can hallucinate or it can kind of say crazy things, or it might not be totally on point to what you want it to be. So this is where the human element comes in, right? You edit it, you add maybe some uniqueness or some tone changes, which that's another thing. You can say, great, I like this copy, but make it a little bit more warm and friendly, or make it convey more its like longevity. Like you can give it even more direction to refine. So those are great ways to use AI, and you can kind of use that same approach across any of the platforms that you're working on. It really comes down to like the prompts you give AI and what action you're asking it to take. So some other areas where AI has been really effective is, SEO optimization. If you're really skilled at like incorporating this into your own site, this could be some ways you look to optimize or speed up your optimization or test new approaches for search engine opportunities. Chatbots can be another one. So like, probably the easiest way to use this one is thinking about those instant message responses that you can set up maybe on your social channels and having some of them pre-programmed. You can use AI to help you write and craft those so that it sounds friendly and approachable and helpful if you're struggling with like, what do I say in these automated responses? Or give me a plan give me like a sequence of automated responses that I should consider if I'm entering into the e-commerce space. You can ask it questions like that as well. You can also think about personalized recommendations. So this is a little bit more advanced, But like sort of an analog or get started version of this is, let's say you see a customer order come in and it's for one of your best selling like sweatshirts, right? You carry really great casual wear, and it's a really comfy sweatshirt, and you've got the sweatpants that go with it, and you think your customer would really love that as well. How could you offer up those sweatpants as a add-on to that customer's purchase, right? What are ways you can use AI and technology to help you like do that through automated responses or programming? It's a little bit more advanced, but it's all capable. There's always ways to do it. Image generation is another great one, or image editing is another fabulous way to use AI. And a lot of platforms like Canva or other like Photo Room, Lightroom, they have built-in features now where you can easily use AI to enhance photos, remove backgrounds, edit, change backgrounds, punch up. I mean, you could even tell it to like create you a brand new image, which maybe you do, maybe that's something that's helpful for your business, maybe it's not, but you could create your own unique images based off of instructions you're giving the AI and what type of image you're wanting to create for your business. And then finally, analyzing data is also another really great way to use AI tools. And so we'll talk about this at the last week, but using AI to help you understand or make some sense of your numbers or find correlations. If you struggle analytically, it can analyze raw data for you and help kind of pull out some interesting insights that it might take you too much time otherwise to do on your own. So product descriptions, writing key product descriptions. These are some tips and tricks for when using AI, but then also what you're looking for in the final product actual copy. We want to make sure that the key features and benefits are highlighted. There's clear and concise language, so it's not overly wordy, but we're getting to the point, but we're using descriptive language that also has some storytelling elements in there, but does not have a run-on sentence. We're including key relevant words that would help this product be matched in searches. And we're also using high quality images that really do showcase the product at all angles, or as many angles as we possibly can that would be important to the customer. And that if you can, address any potential concerns that the customer might have over this product in the actual description or details. Those are really effective tips for like thinking about, does my copy check all these boxes? And if it does, you're right on track for producing the best product descriptions you can. So we're going to turn our attention to your online profile now. And at this point, everyone should have their business profile account created. You should have at least, most of your spaces filled in and gone through setting up your payment options, your payment capabilities. You may or may not have actually set up your fulfillment options, which is okay. But we'll hope to have those tackled and completed by next week. And the other area we really want to focus in on for next week is making sure we have product images and product listings created for your storefront. Minimum of 5 is what we're hoping to walk into next week having, so that we can talk about those 5, maybe what challenges you ran into. This is our resource center. So if you have the capability, you can scan it. There'll also be a link in the email follow-up to where you'll access this. But building your store profile, there's a whole tutorial to walk you through that. And if you have not set up your e-commerce payment gateway, please connect with our team so that we can help you complete that step prior to next week's call. Because it'll be imperative that you have your gateway completely set up and fulfillment election set up and ready to go. These are just some tools that, keep in mind, are accessible through visitors on WeShop, they can search by city, they can search by store type, they can search by product. So as you begin to classify your inventory, keep that in mind that we're giving accurate classifications to products and listings so that they are matched appropriately in the right categories on the site, right? Same with fulfillment tools. The options that you have available for automation are buy online, pick up in store, local delivery, or shipping. You don't have to do all of them. We just require at least one of them is set up and running for your business so that customers can place orders with you and you can fulfill those orders for them. And then building customer loyalty, there is a message center that they can directly message you on. We have a reservation system. You can connect your own reservation system or set up and utilize our reservation booking capabilities through the WeShop platform so that customers can easily book appointments with you based off of the criteria you make available for them. And then finally, gift cards is another customer loyalty option you have available and accessible to you. Gift cards for your business, gift cards for your community, and WeShop gift cards you have the ability to accept as well. All right, so again, here's the Knowledge Center and resource area that you can access, and it's chocked full of material for you to begin your translation journey for your e-com space. And we will continue to review those next week, along with the marketing, dive more into the marketing, the visual storytelling, and the tools and resources around how you can begin to, now that your store is going to be launched, what you can do to promote it within the WeShop community, and then also externally on your own, but as a branded partner of the site. So I will turn it over to any questions that we have regarding the e-commerce excellence strategies and foundations that we want to identify and begin to craft for our business so that we can move to the translation phase and begin making sure that our visual representation next week of our profiles matches our brand identity. It checks the e-commerce principles boxes, and it sets our listings up in a way that delivers on the customer experience and customer engagement and building of loyalty that we want to achieve. And I think I'm going to go ahead and stop recording now, actually, just in case we run a little long. So thank you, everybody.